Hello Ravens, Mr. Shaver here. I'm going to do a brief demo on how to get your wire birds started. You can use these techniques for any sort of wire sculpture, but for us we're all going to make the birds so we can do that big cool installation. But as promised, I wanted to show you a demonstration of how to do the beginning of these. So I've got some stuff ready to go. Now this is the first bird that I made. There's some things I would do a little bit differently, but essentially this is a good size for what we're doing. It uses different gauges of wire. That means like different sizes of wire. So I'm going to kind of take you through the first steps. So I have some galvanized wire here, 18 gauge. So it's a little bit smaller, but it's a little bit stronger than, say, this aluminum wire, which is really easy to bend. So I'm going to start with the stronger wire to build the armature, kind of the framework for what you're doing. So I drew out the outline of a raven in flight. So I just looked up a picture of a raven flying and kind of drew out the basic form. Now, obviously, we want to add wings. We're going to add a tail, but this is how you just get started, okay? So I'm going to try and keep this so that you guys can see it as best I can. I have my wire here. I'm going to take off enough length that I think I can get through the whole outline. You've got your different wire tools, cutting tools, different pliers, they'll do different things. Okay, so I want to create this outline. Now, I'm going to need to connect it at some point, so I'm going to actually start it down here in the middle. I've seen other people kind of do it back here, the tail, but I'm going to do it this way. So when I first start, I'm going to use my hands, but when I get to something like this, like by the tail, okay, where I want more of a sharp angle, that's, I'm going to go smaller a little bit more, that's when I can use the pliers. So kind of using my drawing, put my pliers right where they need to go, do a solid bend there, and keep following my line. I can sharpen that bend up a little bit with the pliers as well, like clamping it down a little bit. Then I'm going to continue on to the back, push in, a little bit around to the head. All right, and then I have another sharp turn that I need to make for the beginning of the beak. So this wire is going to move around on you a little bit. That's why this is just the beginning. It's just the armature. And then we're going to use other wire to kind of secure it. So I'm making my bend for the beak. I go back to my drawing. See if I'm on course. I think I need to bend it a little bit more. Okay, that's pretty good. There's the underside of the beak. And then kind of back around to that middle area. Now when I get here, okay, I've got some extra wire here. I'm going to pull it up so I can see what I'm doing. I've got some extra wire here. I'm going to cut off some of that and remove all of it. Okay, I'm going to make a little bit of a right angle with my wire so I can cross them, and then I can just twist them. I just need to secure that wire down to hold the shape. We'll do some more securing here in a moment. And if it's difficult, you can use two pliers and kind of hold one, twist the other. Okay, so this is the outline of my bird. All right, that's a good start. I'm not super worried about this thing. I can cut that off later. It's probably going to get hidden in the rest of it. So this is the beginning. Then you say, okay, well, what are my next steps? Where do I go from there? Well, what I want to do is I want to make sure this outline doesn't get super messed up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the aluminum wire that's easier to bend. Okay, I'm going to put this back down. I'm going to cut off a length of it. Right? Then I need to start it somewhere. So I'm going to bend the end to make a little hook. Okay, there's a hook there. Then I can clamp that down. Now the aluminum wire should be pretty easy to clamp down so it stays. Okay. I'm going to bring this back up so you can see what I'm doing again. So I'm just trying to secure this outline. I don't want it to get messed up, like I said. So I'm going to hold it and make kind of a diagonal. So I'm going to twist that around. Instead of just doing a V, I'm going to go all the way around in a loop. I'm kind of threading the wire through here. There I've made a little loop, okay? And again, I can take my pliers, smush it down, go back down. I can do that all the way down, my main body form. Smush the wire down a little bit to secure it, and keep going, all right? I'm going to get one more loop here. I'm going quickly because I don't want this video to take super long. But now it's pretty secure. I could do a little bit more here, all right? Maybe loop that in, wrap it around. Now everything is pretty secure, pretty tight, and it's holding its form, okay? But really, this is just a 2D drawing, essentially, right? That's all this is, but we got to make it 3D, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some wire and start creating the 3D. So I could do that with the strong wire, okay? Or I can continue to work with the aluminum. The stronger wire might be actually a little bit easier to work with to make it round, but it's going to be harder to secure, so you're going to have to really make those hooks. Or you can use this aluminum, which is easier to secure, but a little harder to get round, but you can do it if you go back and kind of add more wire in later. It'll hold its shape. So again, I'm going to cut a length I think will work for me. I'm going to make my little hook to get started. A hook, right? Go back to my bird. Say, okay, at a few points, I'm going to start making it round. Now I can always add more later. I'm going to secure that hook. Ooh, I just cut it off. Clamp it down. Now from the side, I'm going to round it out. And this wire should sculpt pretty easily, again, if you're using more of an aluminum. So I can start making it 3D. I need to secure that again, so I'm going to hold it in place with one hand, thread that wire through, pull it tight, clamp it down, and then loop on the other side. So I'm starting to make it 3D. So I'm going to loop that through. Again, I'm holding the wire where I want it to with my fingers. You can go in with your pliers and use them if you need to. Secure that wire. I'm going to clamp it down. And now I've started to get something more 3D. I'm going to keep doing this until I have more of a framework that I can start adding more and more wire to. Right? So I can use this. Maybe I'll just secure it in here. It's okay to just take your extra bits of wire and just secure it somewhere within the sculpture. It's just going to add some strength to it, as long as you're not messing up your main form, right? And then I would do that again. That's one. I might make 2, 3. I might go all the way down the beak. And of course, we're going to add a tail that's going to come off and be more 3D. We can add wings, but I'm going to make those in parts, and then I can attach them with wire, okay? So this is how you can get started. More to it, but this is a good way to start. So hopefully that's helpful. Take your time. It takes a little experimenting if you haven't used wire before, and you'll be fine. All right, bye.